Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we really cut through the noise, unpack fascinating sources, and bring you the insights that matter, tailored just for you.
Great to be here.
So today, we're diving into something pretty fundamental, a challenge that's, well, it's been around since AI really began. Its static nature, you know? The world changes constantly.
Right, it never stops.
Exactly. And imagine an AI built on fixed rules, categories that never change, knowledge that's set in stone. It can be powerful, sure, but what happens when things shift?
Yeah, when context changes or even the meaning of words evolves, that static model starts to break down.
Precisely. So the big question we're tackling is, what if AI could actually learn and adapt? Not just process stuff, but truly understand context as it evolves.
And that question, that's exactly where this really groundbreaking framework called Sophimatics comes in. It's designed to tackle that limitation head-on.
Sophimatics. Yep.
Yeah, it focuses on something pretty transformative. Dynamic ontology and evolving knowledge and cognitive AI. Basically, it's about building AI that doesn't just have knowledge, but actively grows. And importantly, redefines its own understanding over time.
Okay, redefining its understanding. And that's our mission for this deep dive then.
Yeah.
To unpack the sources behind Sophimatics. We'll look at the tech, the sort of philosophical ideas too.
Right, the whole picture.
And explore how it really promises a new era for AI, moving beyond that fixed knowledge to something genuinely adaptive. So by the end of this, you should have a really clear grasp of how this huge shift is actually happening.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we mentioned this challenge, the static AI problem. How exactly does Sophimatics start to, tackle that? Our sources say it uses a network-based model of cognitive AI. What does that look like? How does it handle information?
Well, what's really fascinating and kind of the core difference is that unlike traditional AI where, concepts, categories, relationships, they're often hard-coded.
Fixed, set in stone, yeah.
Exactly. Sophimatics ensures they are ever evolving. Think of it like traditional AI has a dictionary that never gets updated. Sophimatics builds its own dictionary, and crucially, it's constantly reorganizing it.
Reorganizing the dictionary itself?
Yes, in non-linear and context-sensitive manners. So it's not just adding new facts, it's the system itself fundamentally restructuring how it understands the world based on what it encounters.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just updating what it knows, but fundamentally changing how it knows it. That's a big shift. Can you give us an example? Like, how does this dynamic approach play out?
Absolutely. McMenemy's research shows this really clearly. They use what's called a dynamic ontology network. That's our evolving dictionary. And combined it with some pretty advanced techniques.
Like what?
Things like neuromorphic event processing and hyperdimensional representations. Basically, ways to process information more like a brain does and represent concepts in very rich ways.
Okay.
And using this, they saw a huge jump in performance on data sets that change over time. Take the IRIS data set. It's a classic benchmark. The Sophimatics dynamic approach. It achieved a recognition rate of 73.33%.
73%. Okay. And the old way?
The static ontology, the traditional fixed approach, could only manage 35.56%.
Wow. That's less than half.
Exactly. It's a massive difference. It really highlights the power of being able to adapt when things aren't static.
That difference really drives it home, which makes me wonder, how does it actually do that restructuring? The sources talk about nonlinear category updating. How does an AI actually let its core categories shift around like that, and why is that so critical?
Well, it's vital because the world is uncertain, right? This ability lets the AI's understanding since ontology essentially fix itself when it hits conflicting data, or just when the context dictates it.
So if it learns something new that contradicts what it thought it knew.
Precisely. It doesn't just flag an error, it can potentially reorganize its categories.
Yeah.
McMenemy showed that combining that neuromorphic processing with something called hierarchical adaptive clustering, HAC techniques, well, it significantly improved recognition.
Okay, HAC, clustering techniques.
Right. It allows the AI to basically reevaluate how things should be grouped together based on new evidence. It's not just tweaking things, it's potentially reframing its whole understanding.
That sounds incredibly powerful for dealing with uncertainty.
It is. It means Sophimatics-based AI can outperform static ones in situations with uncertainty and variability. And that, opens up huge possibilities for things like dynamic categorization and real-time problem solving.
Okay, so the categories themselves change. But it's not just the categories, is it? The connections between them also shift. The sources mention context-sensitive updating of semantic relation weights.
That's absolutely right. Think about relationships like similardo or belongs to. In a static system, how similar a cat is to a lion might have a fixed value.
Right.
But with Sophimatics, these relationships have weights that can change.
Hmm.
So maybe similarto is strong initially, but as new contextual data arises, its importance, its weight might go down or up.
Depending on the situation.
Exactly. It means the AI can reorganize with respect to contextual factors in real time. It's constantly figuring out which connections matter right now, prioritizing relevant relations.
So it refines its reasoning based on the immediate environment.
Precisely. And that adaptability is crucial if an AI needs to work well in multiple and diverse environments where what matters can change dramatically. Like your cat example earlier, context is everything.
Speaking of changing environments in real time, the sources bring up neuromorphic event processing. Again, they say it's key for dealing with temporally distributed occurrence. What does that mean? How does it help with processing information over time?
Right. Think about how we experience the world. Information doesn't arrive all at once in a neat package, does it?
No, it trickles in, happens over time.
Exactly. Traditional AI often works with a static data set, like a snapshot. It struggles when data arrives bit by bit at different times. Neuromorphic event processing is different.
How so?
It's designed to deal effectively with temporally distributed events in context. It can integrate information that comes from many points in time directly into its understanding, its ontology.
So it's building the picture as the data arrives.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for the whole picture.
Yes. It ensures the AI is continually updated as new input occurs. It makes it much more responsive, much more alive to the flow of information, like we are.
That feels much more natural, more human even. Almost like learning from experience over time. Which kind of leads into something else the source has mentioned, this phenomenological interpretation of intentionality. That sounds deep.
It is quite deep, yeah. Phenomenology is a whole philosophical tradition.
So what does it mean in this AI context? Viewing categories and meaning as dynamically arising from interactions in time and context, not static definitions.
It's a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of the AI just looking up fixed meanings in its internal dictionary, it understands that meaning itself isn't fixed. It's created dynamically in the moment based on the interaction, the history, the context.
Created dynamically.
Yeah. Doherty's research touches on this in human sciences. Our understanding of language isn't just definitions. It involves these dynamic layers of interpretations and conceptual schemas that change constantly.
Okay.
So this phenomenological AI approach allows the system to reinterpret intentional context. It generates new perspectives on meanings and category relations. It's constantly adjusting its interpretative frameworks.
So it can create different interpretation for different scenarios or even different users.
Precisely. Dynamically create interpretations within each scenario and for each user. This makes it incredibly adaptive, especially, for understanding the nuances of human language where meaning is so fluid.
And I think related to that, the sources mention reflexivity. Categories being reconstituted by historical experience, the current environment, and the other agents it encounters.
Yeah.
That almost sounds like the AI is like reflecting on its own past.
It really does sound like that, doesn't it?
Right.
And in a functional sense, it is. This dynamic reconstitution of category structures is what allows it to handle ambiguity.
How so?
It lets it comprehend semantic layers of information that exist over time. It's using its history, its past interactions, to figure out the most likely meaning now.
So it's building on experience.
Exactly. As Doria points out, this helps phenomenological AI interpret subjective context and generate novel context-dependent interpretations. It gets better at figuring out what you mean, your user intentions.
Which a static system just couldn't do with that kind of nuance.
Not really, no. Ambiguity and subjective context are really tough for static ontologies.
Okay, this idea of the AI changing its understanding based on experience is fascinating. How does the knowledge itself evolve inside these systems? The sources talk about dialogical and dialectical approaches. Sounds like debate.
Yeah, in a sophisticated way, it is like internal debate. Dialogical frameworks are really interesting. They let the AI, or a cognitive agent, articulate knowledge to others, maybe other parts of itself, or even other AIs.
Articulate it so it can be examined.
Exactly. So the knowledge can be critiqued and provide feedback. Metaxades calls this dialogic AI. The system actively goes through a process, almost like writing a paper, getting reviews, and revising.
A paper, reviews, revision. Okay.
He uses the terms book, anti-book, and synbook for novel knowledge. Propose an idea, book, challenge it, anti-book, synthesize a new understanding, symbook.
Wow. So it's constantly challenging its own knowledge.
Right. This internal feedback loop helps it integrate new information much more comprehensively and critically. It's not just passively accepting data.
And the dialectical reasoning part, is that similar? More internal arguments?
It's related, yes. Think of dialectical reasoning as using argumentation in multiple contexts. It also enables simulations within the system.
Simulations,
Yeah.
like running what-if scenarios.
Sort of, yes. And these simulations can change and reevaluate over time. It promotes a kind of reflective reasoning, constantly testing and improving its own ontological frameworks, its understanding of how things work.
So it learns from these simulated experiences too.
Absolutely. It allows the system to constantly learn by receiving feedback in diverse contexts, simulated or real, and improve ontological structures over time, refining its own logic.
So you've got these Sophimatics systems. They're adapting, they're learning, they're even debating themselves internally. Now, the sources also mention communicative behaviors playing a role, leading to ontogenetic development. What does that add? How does interacting with the world and others shape it?
Ontogenetic development. That refers to how an individual system develops over its lifetime. In this context, it means how the AI's categories and ways of reasoning become dynamically situated in an environment.
Situated,
Right.
meaning relevant to the specific environment.
Exactly. And kept viable in its fluctuating contexts, largely through its interactions, its linguistic behavior, its communication.
So communicating helps keep its understanding grounded and relevant.
Yes. Vernon and Furlong highlight this. Communicative behavior ensures the system is constantly adapting in response to the world and others in it. It's constantly integrating and maintaining the individual and collective meaning space.
Collective meaning space.
Yeah.
So it learns from others too.
It has to stay relevant. This dynamic adaptation happens through learning, feedback, communication, and negotiation. It leads to the co-evolution of semantic fields. Its understanding evolves alongside the agents it interacts with, validating its internal ideas against the external world.
It's like its understanding grows up within a community almost.
That's a great way to put it. It's a much more organic, socially embedded way of developing intelligence.
Wow, what an incredible journey we've taken into Sophimatics. We started with that basic problem, AI being too static, and we've ended up with AI that can truly evolve its understanding.
Yeah, dynamically changing its categories, its relationships based on experience, context.
Even internal debate and reflection, it's a huge leap.
It really pushes the boundaries, doesn't it? It's not just about faster processing anymore. It's about AI that can genuinely learn and understand in a way that starts to mirror the richness, the fluidity of how we think and communicate.
A living, evolving intelligence, as you said earlier.
Precisely. Moving away from just a fixed database to something much more dynamic.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, listening? Think about it. If AI can dynamically redefine meaning itself, if it can learn through a kind of internal argumentation and evolve its whole understanding based on real-time interactions in its own history.
What does that imply?
Yeah, what does that imply for the future? For our own knowledge, how we learn, and maybe even how we'll interact with these increasingly adaptable intelligent systems. What happens when AI can truly grow its understanding right alongside us? Something to definitely think about.